UFC 305 just happened yesterday. Dricus versus Adesanya. I'm going to be covering the main card, some losers, some winners, and we're just going to see who the next matchups are. Hopefully make some prospects, maybe kill some prospects. It really just is what it is. Carlos Prates had a really good performance against Leach, but it's kind of it was kind of set up for him to win. I'm not gonna say like it was rigged or whatever. It was kind of the best case scenario for Prates to win. He didn't have to knock my guy out. He didn't have to knock my guy out, man. He didn't have to embarrass him. He didn't need to do all that. I chose Prates to win. I said that he was gonna win by decision. Pretty dominant performance. He knocked him out. I'm very sad about that, but very happy because my pick was right, and we saw a really good prospect to win. And honestly, man, he called out Chaos Williams. Chaos Williams said that he wants that fight. When two people want to fight, this is why this sport's here. We got the UFC for that reason. Two people want to fight, we'll make them fight. It's already said and done. Good people, really good power, both of them. And honestly, whoever wins this, you can give a top 15 matchup to. I'm down with that. Prates deserves something big, especially after that performance. And Chaos Williams has been a veteran. He's been around for a good amount of time. And he's built up quite a name for himself. So Prates, Chaos Williams. Let's run it. Let's run it. Whoever wins gets a chance at that top 15. I'm down for that any day. Two people want to fight. It's going to be a good brawl. They both have a lot of power. And honestly, you can just put it on a main card or a featured prelim. Leach lost. I'm really, really sad about that. Even though I chose him to lose, I'm really sad about that. But there's one thing that can happen from this loss, and that's if he fights Oban Elliott. Oban Elliott's a really good grappler. That's not his main thing. That's the worst part. When I think of Oban Elliott, I think, oh my god, he had great grappling against, I want to say Parsons. I forgot the first name. He had great grappling, great defensive wrestling. He was just really good in general. But his striking's impressive too. He's just a good all-around prospect. And I hate giving Leach these, you gotta fight this really good prospect, and then you gotta fight this really good prospect. But that's kind of what you're used for now, man. I'm sorry. We can build up Oban Elliott if he does beat Leach. And if Leach wins, we can have a good Leach win against Oban Elliott. It's good wins for both. Oban Elliott, this will be a huge step up in competition, huge jump up. If he can get it done, I can see him in the top 15 pretty soon. I still think he's top 15 level. Damn, what the fuck? He's one of the best prospects I know. And it's just, I'm really looking forward to him. He's really underrated, and I think a good fight with Leach can build his name pretty well if he does end up winning. It'll be a good stand-up brawl, and if it goes grappling, both these guys can grapple. They're both really good. And I think it will give him enough time, because Oban Elliott's last fight was, I believe, 304. It'll give both of them a good amount of time to come back. Oban Elliott shouldn't be out as long as Leach. But if you schedule this fight, then it's a pretty similar return. It's just a good fight. We can build one, or we can lose one. I would hate to lose Leach, but I would love to gain Oban Elliott as a really good prospect. Moving on, Tai Tuivasa. Split decision Rosenstruik. He took Rosenstruik to a split decision on paper. He didn't. He didn't take him to a split decision, but on paper, he officially did, which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. But, you can say what you want about the fight. He got destroyed. He looks fast. He looked fast. He looks like he still wants it. He looked good compared to how he's looked before, which isn't impressive, which isn't good. But compared to how he looked before, he looks good. And I'm happy to say it. I went Rosenstruik. I thought it was pretty obvious. Rosenstruik decision. I'm surprised a lot of people chose knockout, but just the matchups they were doing, It was not going to be a brawl. It was going to be Rosenstruck just picking him apart from far. But we're here to talk about Tai. Tai Tui, honestly, man, that's 4 losses in a row. I think it's time for you to welcome a prospect instead of consistently defending your rank. I think Mick Parkin will be a pretty good fight for you, man. Mick Parkin's willing to stand there and bang with you just straight boxing. He can wrestle, but he won't. You want a slugfest, you want to fight of the night, you want something big, Mick Parkin's that prospect. He's that guy. If we lose Tai Tuivasa, which we most likely will, considering how he's doing, we can at least build up a prospect and Mick Parkin. Like, a lot of these fights I make, or I want to see, are, does he still have it? Does the guy still have it? And even if he doesn't still have it, we can have a fan favorite and a prospect in Mick Parkin. Mick Parkin's a good fighter. He's got a good style. He has a good personality. He trains with Tom Aspinall. Like, he can make a name for himself. And we just need someone to give him a huge chance. It really is a huge chance, but I genuinely believe in Mick Parkin. He's had little to no struggle in the UFC, and we can see if he continues that against high competition. Otherwise, you're going to see Tai Tuivasa against, like, Derek Lewis, and if Derek Lewis beats Tai Tui, what, he just gets subbed out? Like, he just gets choked out? We need a prospect. If we're going to lose Tai Tui, we need a prospect, and if Tai Tui does win, this would be his best chance against a guy who's not as experienced in the top 10, or really rankings. He's not as experienced in the rankings at all. And he's a brawler. You can either have a fight of the night, get a bonus on your way out, or you can knock him out. Because like I said, he's not going to wrestle you. He's strictly a boxer for the most part. So we build a prospect and lose a prospect, or we keep Tai Tuivasa, and this prospect will come back later, and we can say, oh, he had a good fight with Tai Tui, maybe he's top 10 material. I think it's a good fight to make for both of them. I think they should both take it. There's good rewards in it for both of them. Jairzinho had a really good performance against Tai Tui. Really won all 3 rounds to everybody besides that one judge. I've been said it, he's a great boxer. He's one of the best kickboxers. And honestly, man, I want to see him against Spivak. Sergey Spivak's good. They're kind of both in a similar situation where they're in the middle. They're not too high. They're not too low. Jairzinho's on a win streak. Spivak just beat Tybura. When 2 mid fight each other, and the 2 mids need a fight to see who's better, and maybe they can elevate to that top level. Spivak only loses to bad people. Or, I'm fucking retard. Spivak only loses to good people, high elite competition. If Rosenstruck beats him, that's a good competition. That proves just how good Rosenstruck is. Which we know how good he is, but if Spivak wins, he beats a guy who's on a 3-fight win streak, and he turns into more of a prospect than we thought. It's a really good matchup. Only the elite people beat Spivak. Only the really good people beat Spivak. If Jairzinho can get that, he's coming off a win. He's on a 4-fight win streak. He can fight someone in the top 5. If Spivak wins and good performance, he just subbed Tybura in 2 rounds. Not in 2 rounds, in like 2 minutes. He just subbed Tybura. He beats Rosenstruck, who's on a 3-fight win streak, really impressively. It sets either or up for like the loser of Volkov Gone. It sets them up really well, and we could actually have some like depth. We can actually have a future foundation for heavyweight because we don't have much right now. So hopefully, let's get that future foundation. Aspinall's going to become champion. It's going to be a new reign where we're going to have new prospects. We're going to have real good prospects. Jairzinho's already done his time. He's already been a prospect. Spivak's already a prospect. It's like, you got to match both the mid up, and whoever wins is more elite. Like, it is what it is. It's how it's always worked. In my mind. Moving on to Gamrot. Gamrot lost. I thought it was 2-1 Gamrot. But I can see how Dan Hooker won. I tweeted that. I said I could see how Dan Hooker won. And it is what it is, Gamrot. You didn't push the pace at the end. You just needed to do a little more damage. I understand that you outstruck him. But at the end of the day, it didn't look impressive, Gamrot. Like, Dan Hooker just looked a lot more impressive. He looked like he was doing a lot more damage. But you're still a big name. So I think the winner of Moicano versus Benoit should fight Gamrot. Gamrot's still a big name. He's still at the top. You want to set both these guys up? You do that fight. That's the whole purpose of this fight, right? Moicano versus Benoit it's a prospect fight in France, main event on fight night. The whole purpose of this fight is to build someone up. The winner of this, you build them up, they fight Gamrot, they're one fight away from a title shot, in my personal opinion. They're big names, so they don't need to take the long way. They don't need to fight everybody. These guys are big names. If they beat this, and they beat Gamrot, it just sets up a title shot perfectly. And if Gamrot does end up winning, it rebounds Gamrot, and people are saying, oh, Gamrot's still elite. Gamrot still has something to offer. It'll be a good fight either way. Benoit is extremely aggressive. Moicano is really good grappling-wise, really good sprawling-wise. It would just be a really good back-and-forth fight no matter who fights Gamrot, and I'm just down to see it. I think it'll be great either way, and we can build up prospects. Dan Hooker. Honestly, he looked really good. Like, the weakness I thought Dan Hooker would have is, oh, he doesn't defend takedowns well, and he doesn't really get back up from takedowns well. He said before this fight that he just started to feel good. Like, he just started to look like a good fighter. And I was like, oh, that's BS. You're already a good fighter. You've been a good fighter. You've been at the top for a good amount. This is a new Dan Hooker. This is a real top Dan Hooker. Like, this is amazing. And you gotta believe him now when he said that he feels like a good fighter. You gotta believe him. He looked great. He got her from all the takedowns Gamrot shot. And he even started defending a really good majority of them towards the end. And did a lot of damage. He looked really clean in his boxing. He just does a lot of damage. And honestly, now that he's top 5, we can do this matchup. I know this matchup was rumored to be on 305. It didn't work out that way. We can do it now. It's justified now. And the winner of this can get a title shot. Because there's no foundation after Arman Tsarukyan. If Arman Tsarukyan fights Makhachev and he wins, who fights Arman? Is it an instant rematch with Charles Oliveira? Or not an instant rematch. Is it an instant rematch with Makhachev? Or is it the winner of Charles Oliveira, Dan Hooker, fights him? In my opinion, it's the winner of Charles Oliveira, Dan Hooker. And if Makhachev wins, I don't think he'll move up against Bilal Muhammad. I think he'll stay and fight Oliveira and Dan Hooker. Especially if Oliveira wins. Because Oliveira was already supposed to have that matchup in October of last year. So if you ask me, we need foundation. We need foundation. There's no other fight for Dan Hooker right now. This is a big win for both guys. Good title shot for both guys. Who else is left? Like Max Holloway, who's moving down to featherweight. Gaethje, who just got knocked out by Max Holloway. Chandler, who won't fight McGregor until like next year. And Poirier, who's not coming back. For Dan Hooker, at least. I think Dan Hooker Oliveira is the fight to make. Like, it's really the only good option I see for both of them, and I've already seen a lot of people want to watch it, so it'll be a good brawl. Good slugfest. Fight Night Brazil. Co-main event. Co-main event and a stacked pay-per-view. You can do so much with this fight. You can put it anywhere. Everywhere loves these guys. Literally everywhere loves these guys. You can put it on any card, and people will be cheering and loving this fight. It will most likely be a fight of the night. So, we need foundation for lightweight. This is a fight you make. Steve Erceg got knocked out. by Kai Kara France. I thought Steve Erceg would beat Kai Kara by decision. I forgot how elite Kai Kara is, man. Just because he's been out, I forgot how elite Kai Kara is. But we're going to focus on Erceg now. Kai Kara's time will come. Steve Erceg lost. He was setting up against Kai Kara, and Kai Kara just caught him in, coming in like a fucking gremlin. Good shit, he has real power in his hands. But Steve Erceg lost, and people were talking about doing Kai Kara versus Kaya Sakura. I don't agree with that. I think there's a clear decision, and it's Steve Erceg versus Kaya Sakura. Kai's not getting an instant title shot against Pantoja. We shouldn't have Kai Kara, the only other guy who's lined up for a title shot against Pantoja. We shouldn't waste him and make him fight Kaya Sakura. Because then who's going to fight Pantoja? It's like no one. So you make Erceg fight Kaya Sakura, welcome him into the lightweight or the fucking flyweight division. If he does win, then it's a pretty good win for Steve Erceg. If Kaya Sakura wins, it's a pretty good win. He's already in the top 10. Steve Erceg, who people thought was a real champion. In my opinion, Steve Erceg's still top 5 at flyweight. His rankings doesn't say that. It doesn't say that at all. But I see him beating a lot of people. If Kaya Sakura wins, people still like Steve Erceg. People still think he's really good. I still think he's really good. Kaya Sakura wins that, man. It's huge. And Steve Erceg, if he fights Kaya Sakura and wins or knocks him out, it's a good win. And it completely gives him another fan base in Japan or really wherever. It gives him another fan base. He sends Kaya Sakura like to the shadow realm, whatever. It's just a good win for both of them to have. I think it's a great introduction because Steve Erceg's not that high, but he's not that low either. Kaya Sakura, man, you're not going to get a title shot, especially after the performance that Kai Kara put on. You're not getting that title shot. You're second in line. You beat Steve Erceg, you get that title shot, man. I think, is Roy Val scheduled? Yeah, Roy Val scheduled against Tyra. So you're not getting the Tyra fight. You're not getting the Roy Val fight. You're not getting the Moreno fight. You fight Steve Erceg. And I think if the UFC is smart, they're going to take this because it builds a prospect either or, you know? It really builds a prospect. So, Kai Kara, fucking autistic. I'm getting really, like, mixed up between the Kais. I really hate it. Steve Erceg, Kaya Sakura. I'm just going to say it there. Kai Kara France just knocked out Steve Erceg, as you can see. Really good performance. His striking looked really good. Obviously, he knocked him out in the first round. But I'm not talking about just a knockout. He looked really good in general. He showed that he's elite, man. Now that I think about it, he was piecing up Brandon Moreno. He was kind of beating the shit out of Brandon Moreno until he got body kicked. He beat Amir Albazi. He got robbed. It's like, not only is Amir Albazi nowhere to be seen, and he's not getting a title shot, Kai Kara is coming off a knockout, really a first-round knockout against who people really thought was his champion. People really gassed up Steve Erceg, said, oh, Steve Erceg's the real champion. Well, if you believe that, and Kai Kara just knocked him out in the first round, you would give Kai Kara the fucking... You'd give him the title shot, man. It's really that easy. No one is looking as good as Kai Kara right now. Kai Kara is elite. He only has one loss, really, and that's to Amir Albazi and Brandon Moreno. Moreno's not to be seen. He beat Amir Albazi. We all know that. It's like, just put him against Pantoja. There's no one else who's as worthy as him. Really, and I mean really, there's no one else as worthy as him. And then winner of Erceg, winner of Erceg Kai, they just fight the loser of Pantoja versus Kai Kara. I think it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple how we're going to do this bracket. We're just going to make a bracket for flyweight. We follow that bracket, everything should work out. So give Kai Kara that title shot. No one's more deserving. If Pantoja wants to fight soon, Kai just took no damage. Kai just came off a first round knockout and took no damage. We'll do Kai versus Pantoja, main event or co-main. I'm thinking co-main event for like UFC 309, which I think is Madison Square Garden. You give Kai Kara that title shot in Madison Square Garden. But moving on. Israel Adesanya. I'm sorry I chose this picture. I didn't realize it was this picture. But Israel Adesanya lost. Good performance. He looked really good. I thought he was losing 2-1 going into that fourth round, but people thought he was dominating the fight, which some reason it still feels like people don't know. It's round-based, not fight-based. So a lot of people are saying, oh, but that third round, he was killing him. It's like, it doesn't matter. That's one round compared to the other two, which I can understand if you give Israel the first round. But I gave Dricus the first and the second. But Israel looked elite, man. He looked good. I don't think anyone else beats Israel right now. Maybe Whitaker, but I just don't think so. Israel was hitting like a truck. He's never looked stronger. His boxing's never looked cleaner. He looks amazing. I don't like Israel. I disrespect him a lot. I think he's corny. I think he lies about poverty, which he does. I think he tries too hard. But I gotta give props to him, man. Like, he's elite. He beats almost everybody. He's that fucking guy. He really is that fucking guy. No matter what fight he wants, inside the contenders, he'll get that fight. He's not fighting Dricus again. Dricus beat him clearly. You don't come off 2 losses and get an instant rematch again for a title shot. I think Israel fights... Jesus Christ, that photo is fucking disgusting. I think Israel fights the winner of Brendan Allen and Imavov. They're not going to do Strickland. Strickland's already next for a title shot, apparently. He's not going to fight Vettori or the winner of Cannonier Chao Bravo. He's going to fight the winner of Imavov, Brendan Allen, because whoever wins that fight is already set for a title shot. Or not a title shot. They're set for a number 1 contender spot. So if Israel fights the winner of this, which I think he beats both of them very easily, it's a good bounce back. It's a really good bounce back against 2 great prospects. And you could easily get that title shot if you beat either or of these guys. He's not going to fight Sean Strickland. He's not going to fight the winner of Whitaker Chimaev. He needs a bounce back. This is what he did. This is who you got to fight. People are underlooking this, in my opinion. You beat one of these guys, you're set up for a title shot immediately. And maybe, just maybe, you fight Sean Strickland, you know? That's how it could work out. Moving on to Dricus. I'm sorry, this image is just fucking crazy. Dricus du Plessis beat Israel Adesanya. Let me get this off my screen. Dricus du Plessis beat Israel Adesanya, and pretty impressively, actually. Like, he has a tendency to look absolute dog shit. He is dog shit. I feel like I could be more technical than him, but he's a fucking genius, bro. Fight IQ, him and his camps are amazing. They're fucking genius. It might not look technical what he's doing, but everything has a reason. Everything's technical by him. He's just a really good fighter, and he just doesn't look like it because of his awkward style that apparently beats Israel Adesanya, which I chose to happen. I know I'm gassing myself up. I know I'm glazing myself, but I deserve to be. You know, I got that shit right. Underdog pick. But yeah, Dricus, people are saying, oh, Dana White said Sean Strickland's next. He doesn't seem to agree with that. He said he's fine with that. He said he wants to. He doesn't seem to agree with that. He said that Whitaker, if he beats Chimaev, is a lot more deserving. I agree. I think the fucking winner of Whitaker versus Chimaev should get the title shot. Pray to God it's not Chimaev, but if it is Chimaev, just think about it. The amount of pay-per-views Chimaev versus Dricus will sell is insane. It's a lot more than Sean Strickland versus Dricus. You just do the winner of Whitaker versus Chimaev. If Whitaker wins, he's doing great. He looked great. He's on a 3-fight win streak. If Chimaev wins, he's just a star. He'll get that title shot. And another thing I've seen is Sean Strickland said that he doesn't want to fight in South Africa. He said he wants to fight in Vegas. You're not a champion, little bro. I thought you won the first fight with Dricus. You're not the champion, little bro. It's Dricus' time. You fight in Africa for the title shot. Or we'll go to Whitaker, who's willing to fight anywhere for the title shot. You want to be picky about it. You want to be a bitch about it. You don't call the shots no more. It's Whitaker's time. And it's Dricus' time. You want to be a man? You want to be able to call your own shots? Be like, I want to go here? Fight Whitaker. Fight anyone. You're not fighting anyone. You don't get to choose. Oh, I go to Vegas. I'm the challenger. Oh, I don't want to travel no more. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, you don't get to choose. And to my knowledge, I don't think you really traveled that far against, who did you fight? You fought Paulo Costa. You fought Paulo Costa, bro. No, you don't get to call the shots after fighting Paulo Costa. Near your own home, by the way, in the USA. We're going to South Africa for Dricus. You want to complain about never fighting at your home? Dricus hasn't fought at his home since the regional scenes. Fucking retard, bro. I'm sorry. I used to be such a fan of Sean Strickland. Now he's just crying all the time. He's just a bitch. So yeah, Dricus, fight the Whitaker, or I hate this, bro, because there's so many words that are just so similar and I get caught up on them because I'm retarded. You gotta fight the winner of Whitaker versus Chimaev, man. Like, don't tell the UFC, and I understand, I like what I like what Dricus said, where he's like, give me a name, I'll fight anyone. I don't care if they're the most deserving. I want to do the fights that people want to see. I want to do the fights that the UFC give me. So if the UFC gives him anyone, he'll fight him. And I fuck with that. That's the champion. That's champion mentality. You gotta fight Whitaker, man. And the reason I'm saying Whitaker and not really Chimaev or Whitaker is because I think Whitaker's gonna win pretty comfortably. You gotta fight the winner of this fight, man. You really do. Like, it's don't let Sean Strickland call the shots because he doesn't deserve him. He doesn't deserve, oh, I want the title shot in Vegas. Honestly, man, he doesn't deserve the title shot at all. So, Whitaker wins this, give him the title shot. You gotta have that same mentality for Chimaev, right? Where if he wins, give him the title shot. If Strickland doesn't fight the winner of, like, Cannonier, I don't know, man. If he just doesn't fight at all, he doesn't deserve the title shot. We gotta keep order in the middleweight division. We already stalled with Israel Dricus, which is fine because it ended up being a great fight, and we ended up seeing how elite Israel still is, and just how good Dricus is. You gotta run this, man. Like, we gotta keep order in the division. That's what matters. But those are my fights to make after. Oh, no, I'll do another video on the Alex Pereira situation. But yeah, these are my fights to make after, man. Like, keep order in the division. And my main message is, it's okay to lose prospects. Sometimes we gain prospects, sometimes we lose prospects. But if you're gonna lose a prospect, make sure you gain a prospect. You gotta be a good matchmaker, man. If you're gonna lose Taito Ivasa, we gain Mick Parkin. If you're gonna lose Leach, I don't even remember who I put him up against, to be honest. If you're gonna lose Steve Erceg, then we gain Kai Sakura. You gotta lose prospects to gain prospects. That's my main, really just, that's how I plan all my matchmaking. You lose some, you win some. Anyway, that's it though. I'm gonna discuss the Alex Pereira situation probably tomorrow. If you want to watch, like and subscribe. Really appreciate it. All the support, really. Um, yeah. Wish you a good day, man. Like, fuck it.